Hello everyone and welcome to Don't Be Bored. Today I'm here to preview for you Verdun, which is a 2 or 4 player trick-taking game where you are going to be battling it out, taking casualties and seeing which side wins and whose fortifications are, well, beaten into the ground. Let's jump into how it plays and then I'll give you some pros and cons. So in the game you're going to be playing out almost mini skirmishes across what is almost a battle, and you're going to be doing that as either 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 in a team mode. Regardless of if you're 1-on-1 or working with someone, each team is going to play 2 cards into each trick, into the middle each round. If there's 2 of you playing, that's going to go A, B, A, B, and if there's 4 of you playing, well, each person is going to play 1 card into the middle. You're not necessarily always playing your team's cards though. You might be playing a low level card of your opponent because it's in your hand and, well, maybe you want them to win this one or lose this one, because depending on the outcome, casualties can occur. So you're playing these cards into the middle as either an attacker or a defender each round, and you do that by the person starting the round playing a card face up into the middle. They've either got the French or the German sort of symbol on them, and that's going to sort of help you work out which team they're kind of helping towards winning the battle. So you play some numbers into the middle and then you're going to evaluate to see what has happened. The attacker adds up all of their sort of numbers, not necessarily the cards they played, but if they're the French, they add up the French numbers. The Germans add up the German numbers, and, well, you see if the attacker has outperformed, beaten the defender. If they have, because you'll have chosen a fortification you're going for, well, then they will reveal that fortification. That's got a number on it. The defender adds that to their score. If that now equals or is bigger than the attacker's, nothing else happens, but that fortification's been revealed for the rest of the game. However, if the attacker still won, well, you're going to not only take that out of commission, that fortification, put that into your score pile, you're also going to take the face down token behind it. Now, this could be a decoy worth only 1 star, but maybe it's the radio of the other team worth a lot more stars. Finally, each team is going to work out their casualties. The winning team are going to lose their lowest valued card. You effectively put that off at the side. It's going to have some skulls on it and they're negative points at the end of the game. The losing team though loses their highest card. There's a couple of special cards in there, such as the General, which could be either a 1 or a 14, a spy that can copy like the previously played card, that sort of stuff, but otherwise that is how the core of that system works. Spicing it up a little bit are these tactic cards. Now, when you play a troop card into the middle, you can also play one of these tactic cards. These shake things up, just tweak the rules for maybe that round and just a little bit. Like artillery, everyone dies, there's loads of casualties. An airstrike adds 3 to your side score, regardless of what card you've played, and little things like that that just maybe try and swing that little skirmish in your favour. The game goes until all cards have been played, so once you've run out of cards, you're going to work out how many stars you've got. Now, you're going to do that by looking at a number of factors. You're going to look at things like if you've got any face-down fortifications left. You're going to gain a point for every fortification on the opposing team that you have managed to beat, so it's face up at some point, or in your score pile. The assets that you've managed to completely take off your opponents, they're in your score pile, they've got stars on them as well. You'll get the stars for assets that you've managed to hold on to, but then you're going to lose 1 point for every skull that is in your sort of special put off to the side pile of your casualties, and they can really add up. By default, that's the game done. You'll have won or you will have lost. But you can, via the rules, play like an extended mode where you do almost like a best of 3 sort of scenario to drag it out over multiple battles. So now you know how the game works, what do I really like about it? Well, I really like the way they've managed to get 2-player trick-taking to work, And it's because you're often ending up playing cards that aren't for your side. Now, it seems at the start counterproductive, but actually you can sort of really tailor it so you know they're going to be losing some casualties, or you can make it where you don't take any casualties. You could just play some of their lower numbers into the fight rather than any of yours, and then if there's no opposing forces, there's no casualties. So yes, they might overrun something, but hopefully it's your decoy rather than your HQ or radio, that sort of thing. And I like that sort of twist of trick taking of, you know, there's not really a suit, yeah, those German and French cards, but you're always playing just into that trick. If you're not sure what a trick taking game is, therefore you don't really need to know that, but you'll determine via playing cards into the middle the outcome of the battle. There's going to be some people that prefer it at 1v1 and some that prefer it at 2v2. You have that sort of extra interest of, well, you're working with a teammate. They're also going to be adding into the middle, and hopefully they're doing what you're hoping they're going to do. You know, playing a card for you to win the battle because you're sat there with a really bad card. Oh, I hope they play something high so I can get this low card in, but we still win the skirmish, that sort of thing. So I like that there's those two sort of player counts, and I think different people will sort of either like having all the information themselves or having most of the information and hoping that their teammate is going to be working with them, sort of thing. But I think some people really like it at 1v1 where you've just got all the information to you, it's all on you, that sort of thing. But the teammate with 2-on-2 version is there. As per the rules, in your first game you should randomise the fortification tokens and the assets, not really sort of caring where they're sort of matched up to. But I think once you've played like a couple of turns, you're really going to be wanting to have gone back and reset so you can start putting your fortifications where you want them. This gets quite interesting because it means you can put a really sort of strengthed, high valued fortification in front of a decoy, and I really thought that was a cool aspect to the game where you really are sort of protecting it massively. They see this huge number, they're like, oh, the HQ must be behind it, but it's not. I thought that was a really cool sort of play that you could do, and you could almost read your opponent on, ooh, have they done that? Do I want to go back to that really strong one on the chance, or do I make sure I go for a different fortification because it's not such a big number? I like that, and I think a lot of people will like that slight mind gameness to the fortifications and assets that's during setup. You probably do want to play your first game with them just randomised though for ease of play. One thing that I'm not necessarily on the fence about, but I like it to some extent, the special cards in the deck. There's, I believe, just the right amount normally, although there are some extra cards that you can put in. The normal ones, the general, where you get to choose is it 1 or 14, or the spy that copies the previously played card, I think they're really cool abilities. Whereas there's another one that you can add in later, which is like the scout, and that means that you can't play any of those tactic cards later on. It's cool, it's a nice addition, but it doesn't necessarily change the experience up massively because there's only 2 of those cards going into the deck. I'd like to see more of that sort of stuff so the game sort of feels fresher for longer. So, you know, oh, this game we don't have scouts in, we have this. Whereas there's not too much of that you can shuffle like in and out of the main deck. I just wish there was a little bit more because that could have added some variety. Though you do still get that from what tactic cards are played and, well, how the sort of deck is shuffled and distributed. Now, I am playing with a preview prototype-like copy, so I'm sure there will be changes to the rules. In fact, there was even an updated rulebook after I'd received the game. So I know things are still being polished, but a couple of things I'd like to point out is, at the moment, there's not many pictures in that sort of rulebook. I hope that sort of increases. In fact, one of the pictures that's in there at the moment is sort of right next to the components, and it's saying, oh, there's 6 different fortifications, and then the picture next to it there's only 5. That's because in the game you play with 5, one is put back in the box, and it just means that I think that some people might get confused, but again, I have to mention it because it's an oddity, but this is a preview, so I'm sure the rules and stuff will be tweaked and improved for launch. So there it is, a 2 or 4 player trick-taking game called Verdun. Hopefully I've given you sort of the ideas and logics of the game, the concepts, to let you know if it's going to be a game for you or not. I've certainly enjoyed my plays, and I'll be sending my copy on shortly to the next previewer. So that's, you know, I'm part of that cool chain of getting hands-on with the game. But I think, you know, it's got some nice bits to it where you are having to work out, do I really want to play this card? Is it worth it? I could lose, and that could be massive casualties and negative points. I think that's a cool balancing system, and you throw in some of those tactic cards where it just surprises everyone when you use it. Oh, everything's dying in this because, you know, you've got loads of other ways, casualties that you wouldn't be taking, but we're taking absolutely loads of negative points. There's some cool interactions there with those cards, and I really like those special cards of Spy and General. I do just hope that they'd maybe add a few more of those in, so you can shuffle some in and out each game just to make them a little bit different. But there you have it. Hopefully this video has helped, and until next time, have a fantastic day gaming.